Hey guys, Victor here. Welcome to our first lecture into this male anatomy course. Okay, so let me first explain you how it's gonna be the lectures and the structure of this course. First of each lesson, each part of the body, I will first try to show you guys like a theoretical study where we're gonna see some proportions, some structures in the anatomy, and first analyze a little bit of our reference first, and then into a second time we're gonna be able to start sculpting from half and ZBrush. Okay, so let's get started with the anatomy of the head. And for doing this, we're gonna start here with Andrew Loomis' head. Andrew Loomis was an awesome writer for anatomy books for the artist, and he actually showed us a pretty nice way to get some proportions for the head based on some divisions, like in thirds, in three parts of the head, as we can see here. Okay, so we first have like a sphere draw shape, and then we can draw some lines and reach the structure of the head. Okay, but first let's first analyze a little bit of the cranial structure, some of the bones, and some names that I will say a lot of time. So it's nice to have this memorized, or really understand what you are building up in the skull shape. Okay, so the skull is mainly separated by two big parts, which is the first one will be the cranium, which will be like this, all this region here. Let me show you. All this region is like one unique part for the structure, and then this mandible, which will be a second part. Okay, and here I can show you some of the bones. The mainly bones that we're gonna talk a lot will be first this one, the zygomatic bone, which will make the volume for the cheeks, and it takes a lot of features for the person itself, for doing likeness and all the structure of the head. So the zygomatic bone is all this region that we have here. Okay, so we also gonna talk a lot about these two big holes where we're gonna have the eyes, and here we have plenty of bones inside there, but the mainly thing that we have to keep on mind is the format itself. So here we can clearly see the format, which reminds us kind of Ray-Ban eyeglass. Ray-Ban, it's a really famous eyeglass, and this is mainly the aviator model I'm talking about. The aviator is really famous because it really reached the semblance of the cranium, so it's really based on our anatomy. Because of this, I do believe it was really marking the history of eyeglasses, because it's so much based in the structure of the head, in the anatomy, so it kind of fits in every person. So always try to remember this format of the aviator eyeglasses. Let me show you a pic. Yeah, right here we can clearly see the aspect and the format, which will be very close for the format of these two big holes where will be our eyes inside here. Okay, and here we have the frontal bone in green, which is the bone where we're gonna have the structures of the forehead. So here we're gonna have kind of like 3 parts in this frontal bone, which will be I'm used to call like to separate them in 3 parts, like the frontal part, which will kind of remind a sphere shape over here, and then these 2 3/4 views, you know, 3/4 parts, which will be like in the diagonal. So we can also try to understand this, and we're gonna see it better in more reference of the school. Okay, in sequence we can have this maxilla bone, which will be all this in orange. So it's linked to zygomatic bone, which will be this one that we said. Okay, and also the nasal bone. The nasal bone is this little structure here that we have in the beginning of our nose, and it's a bone. So you can also check in your own nose that we have a part which is cartilage, which is soft, and another part which is hard, more in the beginning of the nose, and this is our nasal bone. Okay, and then we have the maxilla that we said, where we're gonna have the teeth, and down inside here we're gonna have the mandible, which is all this region here in light green. I don't know how to call it, its color. Then another thing that we can see here is the temporal. The temporal is all this region here, which will be kind of a hole, but not a hole. We have this how do they call it in English, this little part here, which is part from the zygomatic bone here. Okay, and all of this region here goes inside the zygomatic here, like behind it. Okay, we're gonna see it better in the sculpting too, but just for being aware of the structures. And in this temporal region we have the temporal bone, clearly is this one in light orange. We have the sphenoid. Well, you don't really need to memorize these names, you know, sphenoid and parietal bone, ethmoid bone, sphenoid bone, lacrimal bone, but just for you locating yourself in the when you are sculpting the cranium, and all of this is nice to have a mind mapping of all the structures. So when you are sculpting with, for me at least, it will be easier for remembering the parts and also its format. Okay, and then in the nape of the head we have this occipital bone, right, that we can check it here, and also the parietal bone, which is all this region here, right? So this will be our mainly parts of the structure of the cranium. And now let's go here for some approach in the building of the head, the structure and all the proportions. As I said already in the beginning of the lecture, we're gonna start from a sphere shape, and in this sphere shape we're gonna make some lines which will be in the middle of the sphere. We will mark like two axes, the vertical axis and the horizontal axis, okay? And by going from this first axis here in the middle of the sphere, we're gonna draw another line almost in the end of the sphere, but not actually in the end. And then we're gonna have this distance here, which will be the distance that we're gonna replicate for the top. And then here we're gonna have the hairline, as you can see here, and for the bottom as well. And then we're gonna have the distance for the chin, and also the mandible and everything. Okay, so we can clearly see it here that we have 3/3 like in the face with the same height. Okay, so the first one will mark our hairline, the second one will be in the height of the eyebrows, and this other one here will be the base of the nose, also the base of the ears, and then this one will be the base of the chin. Okay, and also by looking from side view, we can check it another time here. The first one will mark the hairline, second here the eyebrows, and also the top of the ears. Then we're gonna have here this line which will mark the base of the nose and also the base of the nasal concha that we said. I think this nasal hole here, and also the base of ears, and also in the last part here the base of the nape of the head. And then here we have the base of chin. Okay, so it's always nice to memorize these portions here, and also the base of the zygomatic bone. As you can check it here in this drawing shape, we can clearly see that we have the base here of the nose, the base of the zygomatic bone, and all aligned with the base of the nape of the head. So here it's gonna be our neck. Okay, yeah, so and by looking from the front view, what we're gonna have here is we can separate that in the middle axis, like here, and then the width of the head will be five times the size of the eyes. Okay, so we're gonna have the eyes here. We have 1. Then in the middle of each eyes we're gonna have another eye size, 2, 3, the other eye, and then from this part to this other here we're gonna have another eye size, so 4 and 5. Okay, this will be like the width of the nose, like this, which will be the same of the middle between the eyes, the space. The mouth will be almost like in the middle of the eyes here, but not exactly, more for the center. I'm used to check like in the beginning of the iris, like here. so will be the normal distance for the mouth. But you know, everything, all of this distance that I'm talking here, it's kind of for doing a generic head. The most frequent in nature, okay, but we have so many difference in each person, so we can have a lot of different shapes and different proportions. But for starting this, it's a good point for getting started when blocking out the head, okay. Also, not only the head but also the cranium. So in all this course, all the anatomy part that we are talking about, all these little rules are always for doing like a generic universal head, and then from this point you can modify and reach the likeness that you want, okay. So here, as you can see, it will be kind of aligned, this top of the eyebrow here, and then the mouth, the lips, and also the chin, okay. But we can have it more pronounced for the front or more for the back. It will depend on each person. Another very nice rule that we have here is like this one. If we have this separate in this distance here of the head, from the beginning of the eyebrows to the last part here in the back of the head, if we separate this in two pieces, 1 and 2, the same distance, we're gonna have from this middle line here, we're gonna have the place for the ears, okay. Never place the ears in the front, and always from the back of this line here. And for the front, we're gonna have this jaw line here, okay. But first, let's start with the cranium. And here we already checked a lot of the names for the bone itself, and I think we can start to blocking out in ZBrush, and so we can get deeper in some names and also the forms. So let's do it.